Our next guest is known for spending 44 years with the Muppets on Sesame Street as the character of Maria. She's also written many books, giving her recognition as a pura belpre. Her latest novel, Coming Up Cuban, Rising Past Castro's Shadow, is offering a fresh look at the impact of the 1959 Cuban Revolution. 15-time Emmy Award winner Sonia Monzano joins us to talk about her latest novel. Welcome, Sonia.
Thank you. A pleasure for me to be here.
Yeah, we're honored to have you on the show. And Sonia, you're from the Bronx, but Coming Up Cuban takes us to Cuba in 1959. Why did you decide to write about the impact of the Cuban Revolution with all its social, political, and cultural disruption from the viewpoint of four children?
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm from the Bronx. I'm really Nuyorican. My parents are from Puerto Rico, but I was so fascinated by these stories about Cuban children that I just had to delve into it. I didn't mean to. I was at an event once and somebody said that they were American citizens who lived in Cuba in 1959 and their parents had a chicken farm and Castro came in and they had to leave and they had to leave the family dog behind. And I went, oh, so sad. And they said, no, the dog showed up on the boat months later. Well, I thought that would make a cute picture book. But let me read a little bit more about the revolution. And then I saw there were so many other more interesting stories. Kids who had to come and kids who had to stay. I wanted to sort of illustrate many different aspects of kids' reactions to this revolution. And that's why Coming Up Cuban has four characters in it.
Yeah, and the children in your book, they're from four different ethnic, racial, and socioeconomic backgrounds, but they learn to find a place for themselves in the world. Is that something you have faith in humanity to do despite the trauma?
Yes, I think kids have that innate ability to prevail. I believe that, and I think that nowadays in our society, it's very hard on children. We can't keep them safe in schools, and we have trouble helping them with their higher education. And what I can do is give them stories because when you put yourself in the life of another character who prevails, who overcomes things, you say, I could do that, or I can handle what's going on in my life if Ana, Miguel, Zulema, and Juan were able to overcome Castro's restrictions so beautifully. And I'm not making it up. I think kids do that. I read stories about children who did that.
Right, and I'm guessing you had to do a lot of research for this book. How was it writing it?
Well, I did a lot of research. It took me 5 years to write this book, and I wrote it from many different points of view. There was one version that was from the point of view of a dog, and I even tried to write about the Bay of Pigs from the point of view of a dog, and if you don't think that was difficult. But I did do a lot of research. I was very interested in the Pedro Can kids who were sent here, 14,000 kids, unaccompanied minors, came to the United States. And I talked to them. Those kids are my age now. And I talked to the impact that leaving Cuba had on them and how they made their way in the United States. So the research was, I watched all the movies I could watch that had to do with Cuba and all the books that I could get my hands on.
And we want to know, what will come of these four young people in your story? What was it like to write this book? You mentioned you did a lot of research, but talking to people firsthand, how was the whole process for that?
It was very, very exciting. And you always have like a favorite character when you write a book. And I think Zulema and Juan, the last two characters, kind of became my favorites. I don't know why. I think because probably they had a harder time of it because they stayed in Cuba and had to find their way within that society. So it's interesting how you write a character and they have personalities that you fall in love with as if you didn't create them.
Yeah, and Sonia, I mean, you've inspired millions of children who are now adults from practically every walk of life. What do you think we all have in common despite various barriers?
I think that people related to me on Sesame Street because I was sincere, I believe, and I think that when I was a kid and I felt lost at times, I tried to find answers on television because I love television so much, and I just got that kids are watching me looking for the same thing. So if all of these adults that watch the show that are so different liked me, I think it's because
Ah, amazing. Sonia, I'm so honored to have you on our show today. I'm going to let our viewers know you can get your copy of Coming Up Cuban by visiting soniamanzano.com.